Hello, everyone. Hi. It's Wednesday morning. It's 9:05 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My name is Chris Farrow. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my hair. We're all coming to you to talk about 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. We are in season 7. Jesus Christ. They've done a lot. They've done a lot if you think about it. And this is episode 5. It was called Complicated. Um, Yeah, I just, can you imagine just starting season 1 of 90 Day Fiancé, regular old 90 Day Fiancé, and just being like, just so you know, producers here on the first day, you're about to create the franchise of franchises. You will literally take over like many networks. You will be a universe. It's just, those people did not know what they meant. To us, those producers. And if Danielle and Mohammed, if they hadn't gotten Danielle and Mohammed, who then, of course, would be like on the tell all and they would have the moment they did, then who would be watching this? But that is what happened. I think about it all the time. Um, Hi, hello. Hey, friends. Yes, me too. I want to go to there. I want to go to this tropical sunset right now. Let's go. I look like I just woke up. It's true. My hair is doing so many things right now. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like this. Listen, I don't mind it. I don't know why that poof is there, where the poof would be on this side, but should I try it? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me just should I put some on this side? Okay. Um, okay, my loves. No, that looks worse. I don't know what I was doing. Okay. So let's start with Sumit and Jenny. Oh, Lisa! Yay! Oh, Linjay! Oh, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Yes, like, share, subscribe. I'll have more energy as I go on. One thing is I'm not having coffee in my life anymore. And I love coffee so much, like my Nespresso and stuff, because there's a lot of information, but it like it can be acidic and it can like dehydrate you and it can give you anxiety, which are like three things that like she struggles with. So I'm trying to like not have coffee in my life, and then it makes me waking up like crabby. But I'll tell you who gets coffee delivered to them right in the morning, honey. It's Jenny and Sumit on their like tropical honeymoon getaway. It's not really tropical, but you know what I mean. It's like tropical is Jessica Vanessa's main picture, but yeah, they get their coffee. Like they're talking about last night, and they were just like they want us to they want us to think that they were just like effing all night long, and then their bedpost was just up against that wall like this whole episode will kind of like slightly discuss Jenny and Sumit's sex life. So I feel like it's on the table. And I think that she just like I think it's a lot of missionary, right? A lot. And I think that secretly Sumit would kind of wish that it could be different things. But for Jenny, it works. She just gets to lay there. So, but they make noise all night, and then they start talking about what they're gonna do in the day. And listen, Jenny's on my side. Jenny's like, let's go and hang out by the beach. Let's put let's go in the sand. Let's just like hang out. Let's just like get drinks, whatever it is. And Sumit's like, or we could do a full-on adventure, like full-on adventure kind of like water stuff. And she's like, did you think you were with Kimberly? No, Kimberly of Kimberly and Usman does all the things you want to do. She'll jump out of a plane. She'll, like she loves it. She'll bungee jump. She'll like, cliff jump, whatever it is, zip line, But Jenny is like, no, I'm 63. I don't want to do it. But then she says later, she's willing to try different things to keep up with her 33-year-old husband. And that, are you? What kind of things are you willing to try to keep up with your 33-year-old husband? I forget that Sumit's 33. I mean, I know that he's like significantly younger than her. But I sometimes feel like Sumit might be more my age, and I'm like 5 years, I'm like a little older than Sumit. Not by much. But you know what I'm saying? Like Sumit's young. 33 is young. Um Now, so he just talk her into do a zip line. They go to this adventure place. The zip line guy is awfully cute. She's scared, scared, scared. He's like, "Don't worry about it." We had this like woman that's like 98. She's like, "But was she dating anyone?" Yes, but was the 33 or was it the 98-year-old dating a 33-year-old, honey? Because I'm tired from last night too. I'm just telling you. Oh, my dad just came home. So uh I also love it on the way to the zipline place. There are just like cows lying in the road, and she calls them dummies. Like she's like, "Dummies, you're laying in the road," and I want to be like, are they, or are the dummies the ones that like built the road around where cows would normally lay? Also, dummies, they don't know what a road is. They're just like this space. They don't give an F. They're like, what is a cow? Is a car going to run over me? Probably not. And if it does, I'm taking the car out. The car's not going to live. Um, so they go to the zipline banister to like actually do the thing, and she is scared. I don't know why. Yeah. So when I talked about this with Wah, I was like, why would she go first? And Wah said she would go first because if she gets stuck, like Sumit can come and like push her out of the way. Like, those time things where it's like a ball here and it hits the ball and it goes like that and like that kind of thing. I don't know what this means. Like, this kind of like weird time feature, just like decor would be in some like businessman's office, like, did you ever have that kind of like pendulum ball thing? I don't know what you're talking about. Um, I'm loving to see everyone here. Yay. Okay, so Sumit decides to go first.
Hello.
Hi, Dad, I'm doing a live. And he's also scared, but he doesn't. It looks, I mean, kind of crazy. They're just like fully going over beautiful scenery. I mean, it's funny because you can zip line anywhere, and I've not zip lined once. And then one time I almost tried to zip line was like Fremont Street in Vegas. This is like if you fall in this Indian zip line, like you fall. It is scary. I mean, I'm not, listen, I would be scared. I'm not, I'm a little bit of a scaredy pants. That makes sense for me. I'm alive, Dad. I know. Hi, Dad. Everyone's saying hi, Dad. Dad, everyone's saying hi. Beautiful is what he said. He won't actually come. So, I also like, yeah, Jenny decides to just get her hair up in a little like bun situation and get it done. She does do it. She says it's like a lot of fun and, like she loved it. And then they have this conversation about the Kama Sutra. It's like, they're on this honeymoon thing and they're like, I don't know how long they have, like if it's like a week or 2 weeks, like they have to like kind of like fill their time. I got to think of some activities to do like at the resort or whatever. And I think there is, okay, Sumit makes it seem like, I don't know if my loves, how like you would go to like hotels and there would just be like a wooden catalog banister. You would go to the wooden catalog banister and they would just be like, these are all the fun things that are around here. We have a medieval times. We have, you know, like a crazy museum of, oddities. And there's like, you can, sure, whitewater raft. It's like you can grab the different pamphlets. It feels like that's what Sumit did. And one of the pamphlets was a Kama Sutra workshop. Now, listen, I have watched so much real sex over the years. Like I was raised on real sex. I mean, my dad, you think my dad raised me? No, he did not. It was HBO's docuseries Real Sex. Okay. And I know that sex workshops happen. And I've never done like a sex workshop ever. I would be somewhat interested in like either I gotta now I can't talk that loud because my dad's home. Like tantric stuff or whatever, or a Kama Sutra stuff thing. If I was in like a loving relationship that was like open and kind of like sex positive, and like we were just like, let's try new things, like let's just like open up and like explore our, sexuality together. Like I think I'd be into it. At least going to it and seeing, like, I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Like, would I want to like do sexual things in a room full of other people doing sexual things? And by sexual things like rubbing or I don't know. I mean, it's a little scary. So I think that that part's positive. Listen, what I'm trying to say is I'm into a Karma Sutra workshop. By the way, I didn't talk about this with Wad. It makes me sad because, God bless, we've already talked about this episode. Um, Never heard of real sex. Where was that? Lisa, HBO's Real Sex was real nasty, everyday ugly sex, none of that airbrush stuff. Oh, yes. Yeah, it was. Real Sex was a docu-series on HBO in the 90s and aughts, and they tried to bring it back, but like was never as good. It was just like weird, taboo-esque underbelly of sex stuff that like was kind of raw and kind of real. Like there were like swinger conventions and like different spiritual leaders talking about, the spirituality of vaginas and penises, and the Punani poets, which was like a spoken word group that would like talk about their sensuality. Like there was just a bit, there was, probably the first time I saw like men who were into dolls, like real dolls. I feel like all of that was on there, like, yeah. And this is also it. First time I saw sex with bad bodies, not produced porn. Yeah. Like they it wasn't the most hardcore, like you can see like insertions or whatever, but it was, late night HBO. So they had like a lot of room. And so, yeah, like it was real sex. It was like real people. Like, it was so interesting. I mean, I loved it. Anyway, so um basically, yeah, like I would want to go to a Kama Sutra workshop with someone I loved, especially someone I was married with, if they were into it. But what happens is Jenny takes it to be like an insult immediately. She's like, "Well, I don't know, I'm giving her a southern accent. Well, I'm 63. What's there that I don't know about? I don't think I need any help in that department. I think I know all there is to know, and you're good. You're good enough, and I'm good. I'm good enough. We don't need that." It's a very old school idea of it. And one, it's a mindset that, since she literally just got done saying she's willing to try different things to keep up with her 33-year-old husband, I was like, well, mommy, this is the thing. You don't have to like come. You don't listen. I think it's nice that you zip line with him, but like this is the bread and butter. Like we got to get to it, like let's just make sure that we're exploring everything so that also, it's not that I'm super smart about Indian culture, but like it is something that is like specifically of his culture to be sharing with him, the ways in which his culture views sex. She just seems to be like, we don't need it. I've looked through the book. I've seen the pictures. It's just different sexual positions, which we've all looked at those pictures. And raise your hand if you actually have read, like, cover to cover what the words are saying. I don't know what the words of Kama Sutra is saying, besides like you can you can kind of like be here and put this leg up, or you can like be on your head and put this leg up. Um, okay, well, listen, sometimes I'm like, should I pay you guys for comments? Because this one's genius. Jenny thinks that just because she has false teeth, that's all she needs in her pocket, honey. She just takes it out, honey. Uh, Listen, and I'm gonna say, Jenny, like you are right. Like those things are great to be able to take those out and like not worry about like I always have a problem getting teeth around places that like no one wants some teeth. Um, she just wants to make love and go to sleep. She just wants to like, that's her thing. She wants the Peony to put her to bed like NyQuil. But he's 33. So then they go to this like religious ceremony, and it's like a fiery ceremony. There's like different. I look like s'mores being roasted over. I know it's not s'mores, but it was like very like beautiful. A lot of fire, a lot of like chanting, a lot of people in the streets, and Jenny talks about the level of culture India has in these moments where the community comes together outside to obviously congregate, worship in their way, have a spiritual moment in their way, and also have like a it's spiritual, it's traditional, it's meditative, it's all of those things. And that's it's something that we get moments of in LA, but not to the degree. Like if you were just living there, and you're like, oh, it's this day. We get to go do this thing at this day. Like, and because you look outside and everyone's doing it, it's like you can't escape it. You're like, oh, outside, this is what's happening. Um, like how awesome that would be. I kind of miss that. Like I feel like as a society, like we used to do more things, like maybe not spiritual, but like, you know, I think about festivals and carnivals. It's very hard for people in like the community to come together now. It doesn't happen as easy. Oh, I wanted to talk about this, Leah. That's another thing that Juan and I should have talked about too. There was a Kama Sutra movie. It's true. And I watched it 1 billion times. Okay. And it's hot. The actress in it is the gorgeous actress that was in Game of Thrones. Mhm. Okay. Remember when Game of Thrones had that like sexy jewel toned land, and like stuff happens like the guy dies or something in the sexy jewel toned land. I forgot the name of like those lands, right? But like they're like Middle Eastern or Indian or Manasa in this land. They all have like brown skin, and that's why they all wear jewel tones because they know their colors. The lady that's in Game of Thrones that was the guy's wife was in a movie called Kama Sutra when she was really young. And it's very sexual and it's very fun, like it's a fun ass, sex ass movie. Yeah, that sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. I can't say it, but like, so in this movie, she's just like a young girl and she gets like plucked by like a king, like this hot ass guy. And he's like it's like Kama Sutra. It's a little like Dom, like BDSM is, like it's not BDSM. It's like kind of like, a little Dom, little sub, which is probably why, Juan and I were like, oh, um, why do we like this movie? And the weird thing about Juan and I is that we had both watched that movie like when we were young. Like we had come across it and then talked about it as adults and was like, you watched that movie? You watched that movie? And we were like, should we watch that movie again? And we did. Westeros, the Middle Eastern land. I'd be up if my partner suggested it. I think it's important. Yeah, I just think it's important to like be, like open and giving, right? Like you have to be open to some things. Like I'm not saying you like go against your morals, and if you have a hard line, like, sure, but like your natural energy shouldn't be like no to like a whole whole ass thing. Like, Jenny, you're going to be on this vacation for a long time. Just put on a comfortable outfit and just like go to this sex workshop, Like, I mean, I don't think that you're going to be boning in the sex workshop. I think you're just going to be like going over some things. Yeah, she from Dorm and killed the Lannister. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that's really it for. I mean, I after this like fire ceremony, it's like really pretty. They buy some like flower boats, and they're gorgeous. This woman's making them. I want to know how much they paid for them. I want to be like, please get that woman like a tip. She's also her face is being shown on like national television. Like, you better be like hooking her up. But they buy these 2 flower boats, and they like are gonna put it down the Ganges, it's the river, and like the minute they put it in the water, like they're supposed to like pray on it, and, like take a wish, and like the flower boat, just like with the candle inside, is going to float down the river, and like, there goes your wish. The minute they put it in the water, it like floats right into the gutter and just like burns itself. That was awkward. That part was awkward, wasn't it? So Yara and Jovi. So this was a sad thing because if you're watching Single Life and you're watching 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, it's been so that it's been the time frame has that the Ukraine war hadn't started yet. We know that because of Natalie and of Caesar and of Yara and Jovi. So yeah, Caesar keeps wanting to go to the Ukraine to like get women, and I'm just like, well, I mean, they're going to be a little busy coming up. But Yara's mom lives in the Czech Republic, but all of her friends live in Kiev. So she's just like watching all of the news and just crying and crying. And Jovi says he supports her in her country too. They end up like going to a restaurant, and it's called City Pork, which I was like, I don't know if I really enjoy like places that just like city beef, city chicken. It's just kind of weird. Although, how much pork is pork that? I mean, listen, I like pork. I like cured meats a lot, but it's not like I'm trying to always eat pork. But I guess it's like, is it enough of a draw for a whole ass title of a restaurant? Pork? I don't know. I'm still from the 90s where like pork was considered fattening, and they had to do a whole, not fattening, well, fattening, but like not just like fattening, like, well, I'm going to get fat like in a 90s way, but I guess like cloggy artery kind of fat, just like Crisco kind of fat. So I remember when they had to bring up this thing, it was like pork, the other white meat. And I was like, is it? I don't think that's really true. So basically, Jovi is, by the way, like talking to Mila, like bringing Mila with him, and he's like speaking some Russian to Mila, which makes me really, really happy in Jovi's accent. Tee-hee-hee. At City Pork, they order like a yummy fruit and cheese plate, which I was excited about because I was like, what are you going to order from like City Pork? When I got there, they were like, are they going to like get some like ribs, honey? Like, what's literally happening? It's like pork chops. Is there like a pork roast or something? Is there like apple jelly? Like, I didn't know what it'd be, but it was just like, oh, you're just going to like get like a fruit and cheese plate with like cured pork. Oh, that makes sense to me. I mean, I love salami. So Jovi has to go back to work, and Yara's been going through it. And so this conversation is basically like them arguing whether Yara's going to go to Europe while Jovi is away. And he doesn't want her to. He wants her to wait for him to go with her. And she's like, but I really want to go right now. Like, I don't know what's happening. This conversation, I get it, but I think it's really great that Jovi wants to go with her, and I get why he wants to go with her. And I feel like I want Jovi to go with Yara. I think that I want him to go. I think that, it's like as a pillar of someone with some strength, and like if this is a hard situation, and I just want, like, if she has to literally like hand off her baby for a minute, like, and then have her thoughts, like, I just want her to be, I don't want her to be alone. But I think that Yara's used to being alone now. because he's never there. And I think that she has that panic that we have sometimes of like, I got to do something right now. I got to get there. I just got to get there and just so I can look at them. I just got to be like, I'm here for you. Like, I know what that anxiety and panic is like. We also have another conversation where she's like, basically, there's a chance that like her family would, or who, her family would come live with them while the war happens. And Jovi is like, well, we also have to think about our resources and the money we have. And she like doesn't want to hear it. She at one point says she makes enough money to buy expensive purses. So if she doesn't need to buy some expensive purses for a second, she doesn't have to. And I was like, A, we see the expensive purses, like what are they? And also B, yeah, we know that she like makes a lot of money. Like that's another thing is like we're always just like, you make more money than you'd like to make us think because you're making so much money on Cameo and Instagram and whatever products you're selling, and she's selling products, you know what I'm saying? I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for also being here. Lynn J, I love you. My doctor says if it's solid, cool down, put it down, referring to the fat. Yeah, I don't follow that. If it's solid, that is so smart. Yeah, so like pork fat's solid because like you can see the little fat nibbles in like the salamis. Isn't it weird? Yeah, I have a weird thing where I won't eat like, I'm not like trying to eat pork unless it's in charcuterie. And then I'm like trying to eat all of it. Um, I don't think she should go without Jovi. I think that she would. I think that's also when you're married, you kind of have to like know that certain people have a say about like whether you're gonna go, and with the baby to like a war torn country. And Jovi's not saying you can't go. He's saying, please, I want to go with you. I just can't be like in the middle of a boat thinking that like you and my child are like traversing through Putin's Europe. Let's move on to Kimberly and Usman. So like I don't know what to say. Like I don't love this conversation. So basically they're still fighting over the second wife thing, and she's the dumbest for thinking that like you're just gonna put in a box a person and a baby. Like, I'm not really feeling like it makes logical sense. And it's annoying to me because as a person, there's parts of Kimberly I really, really like. And then there's parts of her that I'm like, you're like almost like bananas like Angela, where it's like I can't put a stake in you. She's like, I can walk on my own, leave me the F alone. She's just like putting up a whole ass tantrum because her delusions have been broken because she was, for some reason, allowing herself to think that there would be a woman in this world who was born purely to be a baby pumper out for her love of her life husband. And that woman would live in like abject emotional poverty, whether she's actually poor or whatever. I'm like, the thought of is that Kimberly would have a husband, Usman, and Usman would have a second wife, who's that second wife can't get married to anyone else because we know what the culture is. And then she wouldn't even get love from Usman, that she would just have to like live by herself, raising his kids, not even by his family, is what Kimberly thought. And I think that's crazy and mean, like, and weird, and just like not right. It really does make me feel like she would willingly, if living in Gilead and like Handmaid's Tale, just like be like, well, yep, put that woman down right in between my legs, Usman. F her, but it's really effing me. In fact, when you F her, look into my eyes. Slick back, high ponytail, that kind of thing. And it's not right. So, I mean, to the extent that Usman told her what was up and she didn't understand it, we don't know. But they sit down in opposite rooms in this suite, and then he has to come sit in the room. And, she says, why am I here? I did everything for you to get to here. I did it all, honey. Like, I bought the trip and I got my hair done and I got my nails done, and it's all for you. And I want to be like, well, The things that you do for you and your body, your physical health or your beauty or your self-care, that's all the things that you should be doing for you. I have never gotten my hair done for a man. And I have gotten my nails done once for a man. Once. Because, let me tell you, I was with someone at the time who wanted me to get, and it's not for me. I'm going to say it right now, and it like irks me to say. I was with someone who wanted me to get a French pedicure, French tips on their pedicure on their feet. Not like fake nails, right? But like a white strip at the end of each toenail. And it's a personal choice. I hate that look. I hate it. I don't like it. It's not for me. I don't like it on anyone else either. But I'm trying to not be so judgmental. Listen, if you like the look of French feet, French toes on your feet, fine. I cannot stand it. Okay. So, but this person wanted me to do it. So he paid for me and I got it done. But every other 2 weeks, I get my nails done for myself. And I like French nails on my hands. I don't have it right now because I'm like going through a process where I'm putting a nail teaks and just trying to like get my nails stronger. They don't look good on here. They look dirty, but they're not dirty. It's a weird thing. Anyway. Yeah, like like if you're getting your hair dyed and you're getting the gray out, that isn't for him. That's for you. It's for you that you feel good. That's not for him. Now, what you've done for him is like all the presents and definitely getting there and like definitely being supportive and loyal when that man hadn't offered you any of that at all. Um, T Jones. Yeah, ladies, don't even get your hair done for some dude. Why? Because a man will not notice. Take it from me. I mean, you might notice if Kimberly came to Nigeria and her hair was white up until there. I think you'd notice. I think that she has some gray hair. I can't stand French tips on toes either. It's I don't know what it is. It's about it. It's just like I can't do it. It's hard. How far into the live are we? We're like halfway. We're halfway, babes. But I'm happy to see you. So, this conversation is whatever, and he wants to be like, I've done things for you as well. Have I not done things for you? And I kind of wish he would spill out a little more of what he feels like he's done for her, besides just like be on a television show that she is also on. I don't know. The next day, she apologizes. She says, I'm too old to be throwing things. And they sit down and they're having some tea. And she's like, don't throw this. It's hot. She's like, I know. You'll never see that part of me again. She kind of keeps saying that, like, you'll never see that part of me again. You've seen it twice. But you'll never see that part of me again. She really wants to contend that she did it because he was interrupting her. I also think that like there was just like like they were like escalating, and one thing that they don't talk about truly, but they really should, is that we're in a different country, and if you're meeting my friend, you cannot yell. You just cannot yell and get angry and like stand up and like it's a respect thing. So like it throws off what's happening. Even if you don't like it, like there's a way for it to talk about it without like doing it in front of my friend because it looks so badly on me. It's just a cultural thing. And she kind of gets that. She's like, you'll never see that part of me again. Every time I have a problem, I'll talk about it with you in private. And we all were like, no, you won't. Come on. No, you won't. If you get upset, honey, it's going to be very obvious. And also, like, I would do that too. Like, I don't think there's a way in which I get upset that it's not completely obvious all the time. Like, the moment, like, I don't know if it's like based on my anxiety, but if I'm uncomfortable or upset in any way, It's 100% obvious. It's like very much, Um, listen, they're all gonna meet his family. And if she does all the things that she's been doing, like he's not gonna like they're gonna hate her. They're gonna be like, what? And he's like worried about it, I guess. Also, we don't, Usman is like the con of cons. Um, After this like conversation that you'll never see me like again, and like we gotta get things right, she says that she wants Yammy, his Yammy. And then he just says, bend down. Not bend over, bend down. Yeah, I think Kimberly isn't a pillow princess like Jenny. I think the natural delineation in their personalities is that I think Kimberly likes it doggy style. And she's more adventurous. We know that. And Jenny's, more tired. Listen, I gotta talk about it. We are talking about it. It's been on the docket, so we have to bring these up. So so let's move on to Libby and Andre. This is like whatever boring. I think it's boring. Libby goes to hang out with her sisters, and then her sister is like her sister has like one daughter that's like dancing. I'm happy for her. I'm like my mind. I'm like, oh, is this like Bookie's way of like having like a new Maddie Ziegler? Um, and suddenly the sisters are like, hey, are you going to mom's party? Yeah, I'm probably gonna be there, but you going, Libby? And Libby's like, no, remember? Like, remember that? No, no, we're not. No, we like very much had said it to her face. We weren't going. It was a whole thing. Like, I was there. Like, how much have you been drinking, guys? Like, why aren't you remembering this? They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, we're gonna go. And like now I think you're in the wrong. And I think Andre is like trying to like, like put a wall around you. Like you're like not part of the family. Meanwhile, like we've seen so many. They just hung out. They all just hung out. They hung out at the warm up part or the housewarming party. Then they all went out to lunch with the mom. And then the mom, like they've done nothing but hang out all the whole time. So whatever. I just like, at one point, Libby, who's feeling like, like whatever protective is like, well, I don't want Andre to go because the next day or like coming up is his like green card interview thing or renewal thing or whatever. And we don't want any like problems. And Becky's like, oh, what happens if it goes badly? Does he get deported? Yay. And Libby's like, that's a stupid fucking thing to say, which is true. I'm kind of glad she said it because if he goes, I go. So like that would literally be his way for us to like have an island around us. He'll never see me again. Um, who would you have babysit your dog, Andre or Charlie? Andre, because in the next scene, Andre's like playing with Ellie and it's really cute. They're like playing Barbies. Now he doesn't know how to play Barbies the way we know how to play Barbies, which is like they have different names and they're getting ready all the time. I know. Oh, God, I used to play Barbies all the time, like really late in my years. Like, yeah, I wouldn't stop putting those Barbies down. And, but like Andre just brings like, it's like a girl doll and he's like, I'm daddy. And Ellie's like, no, you're Juniper. They all have different names, Skittles. I don't know what you call them. But like, it's really cute. I think it's cute. So that's why I would let him play with my dog. Also, yeah, Charlie, I don't, yeah, no. And then we get this it's like a very like sweet, Andre's a sweet, great dad and like kind of scene. And the next scene is Charlie taking his foot fetish pictures for his wife. And like, yeah, babe, your feet are so hot, just like, I mean, maybe he would want to try a French tip manicure on those feet. She says she gets pedicures every 2 weeks, Megan. Listen, yeah, Megan and Charlie are like living in their like own lives of being so happy that they are on the show and making money and OnlyFans. And I don't know if they want us to think it's only feet, but it's not just only feet, but there are feet involved. Megan is like so happy to like just be considered like super, super hot. They themselves are just the broiest, just like they are just, they are a certain breed of people that I mean, I have to tell you, like, God bless if they're happy. Like he very much is like, I'm not an alcoholic. We all drink. And like, I also am really mad at my dad who like took Andre's side. And like that part is the most interesting part. I like the part of thinking that Chuck, like, because Chuck not putting Charlie in his place during the wedding was the weird part for me where I was like, that's weird and rude. But if this is true now that Chuck has like completely gotten rid of Charlie for Andre, then that means a lot. And it also means, which I've always thought, that like Libby is Chuck's favorite. Favorite. Maybe Charlie was more of a mama's boy, you know? It's hard when there is one son and he has mixed feelings or weird feelings with his dad. If the dad is a larger than life personality in some way, or who's made a lot of money, or is successful, or like has a storied history, it can be difficult for a son to like grow up in the shadow of that, and some rebel, which kind of feels like, you know, maybe what's happening. Jade. All their homes may be gone tomorrow. Tampa's getting hit hard. Prayers for Eleanor and fam. That is a very astute point. And the hurricane is coming is Florida. It's hurricane. God, it's not Fiona. It was the other one. God damn. I forgot about that. Yeah, I just read this thing that like the governor was like, well, can't leave. Too late to leave, guys. So just buckle down. Natural disasters are so crazy. In California, we'd never get hurricanes, but like literally any moment could be like a huge ass earthquake. I don't know. Her sisters are kind of mean. Her sisters honestly would be perfect on Dance Moms. Her sisters and her and the whole family want to be the next family that's like Family Day Chantel, that's like Family Day Libby so bad. And I think that every time that Becky gets in a confessional, she's like one step closer to like our own show. Ian. Yeah, Ian. Charlie was the one who made the entrance in the barbecue with his call the cops. That's what started the fight between Charlie and Andre. Charlie and his mommy are both in complete denial. I know it. I agree. I watched this interview that Linda did with Charlie and Megan from 90 Day and and totally changed my mind about them. Really? Linda Melanated Way did with Charlie and Megan from 90 Day and totally changed. How did it change your mind about them? Tell me more, Nocturnal Nat. Because the scene from them doesn't change my mind about them. It very much cements them that, listen, I want them to be happy and I don't care. Like, you can do whatever you want. But at the same time, I feel like they're very much, this is the trash dynasty of the franchise, in my opinion. Yeah, I feel like more like that. I think it's just all kind of trashy. Expecting the mom to turn her back on her son is cruel. What we want is, we don't want her to turn her back on her son. We want her to be like, you guys, I know how you feel. I'm going to have a conversation with Charlie. But she's never said that she'll have a conversation. That's what I wanted to say. She never was like, I'm going to have a conversation with my son where we talk openly about how he feels about alcohol and what's happening and also his behavior. And I am going to understand where he's coming from and like see what it is. But she's never even said that she's talked to him about it. All she said is like, oh, he's not a problem. It's not that I wouldn't want her to turn her back on her son. I want her to acknowledge and see her son and her role and what's happening. But all of this is hard. All of it is difficult and not easy for people. Okay, so at the end of that scene in Charlie and Megan's kitchen, they're just like laughing so hard. They're just like, Yeah, like when did I get drunk and try and fight people? And that part was kind of like, like at the wedding, at the barbecue, like the times in which you've been on TV and we all saw it would be the times. It's just right. I don't. Libby is one of 7 children. Yeah, so like there's other people that we're not talking about. Okay, I gotta watch the interview, honey. It better be on her Instagram. By the way, did you guys all see the Instagram live that Juan and I did with Linda of Melanated Way? Talking about Linda videos. Did you watch mine? Hello? No, I'm just kidding. But I'm like somewhat whatever. Okay, let's move on to Michael and Angela. So Angela is packing to go to Nigeria to visit Michael. And Michael has not really wanted to talk to her. And, they keep screaming on the phone together. And he has his Instagram up and he won't take it down. Is that what she wants? And he's asked for 5,000 to take it down. But I wish he'd just be like, I'll take mine down when you take yours down. And I wish that if he wanted 5,000, that he would also have a job. Okay, so we meet Renee. And Renee is Angela's new friend who, at this point, like, I'm not going to trust anyone who's gotten into Angela's life, like, of recent. I mean, I would be, like, somewhat scared to, like, know anyone who knew Angela, like, all the time, because it means, like, however you stayed around there. And I guess so that means there would be new friends. But, like, a new friend of Angela means that the moment you saw her, you knew who she was, which was a famous reality star. And that Renee probably knew it and was so excited to be friends with Angela that she like has licked every part of Angela's butt to like stay around for a year. Their story of meeting is this, that they were in an airport and that Angela walked by Renee and smelled cigarettes. And like, maybe, I don't know if Renee, like beforehand of seeing it was Angela, like, Angela's here. Like, I kind of smell like it, And Angela was like, can I have one? And Renee's like, yeah, no, totally. You can have all of them, whatever, God bless. And they can't go outside for some reason. They're already in the airport. So they go into a bathroom where there's an attendant and they pay the attendant money to leave the bathroom for them to smoke. Okay. Was just like a bathroom attendant just like cleaning? Or are you trying to tell me there was like one of those like, like night lounge club attendants that like sets up shop in bathrooms, especially the women's bathroom with like all the mints and like a tip jar? And like, that's always a weird situation for me because half of me is like, I'm happy that you're there, like, because I hope you're making money. And there's times in which maybe like some people need something and you're there with it. But the other weird part of it is like, sometimes you're like, okay, but I also just kind of want to use the bathroom and like not worry about having to pay someone. And I appreciate you for like quickly getting me like something to dry my hands with. But it's like, now I feel like you've done something for me. And I feel like I'm just kind of used to going to the bathroom where I just don't need someone to do something for me there. It's a weird moment anyway, always. Again, but then there's sometimes you're like drunk at a club. You're like, yes, you have a tampon and a mint. Here's $5. Whatever. God bless. So Renee, having just, endeared herself to Angela for some reason during this, and also like, what airport are you at? Like, you cannot smoke in a bathroom in an airport. I just cannot believe this is happening in the South. Like, I'd be so upset. Anyway, so she's like, are you gonna take this dress? And they're packing, and she's like mad that Angela hasn't packed yet. And Angela's like, I haven't packed yet because of Michael. Because Michael has made me so upset. I'm overwhelmed. And it's like, you will blame everything on this man. This man is not near you, is definitely not telling you to come there. And you're not supposed to be getting there without, anyway. We also learned, she tells Renee that Michael does not know that she is coming. So Michael, who doesn't know that you're coming, is at fault for you not being able to pack? Where are Danielle's young friends now? Yeah, I would love, I mean, listen, yeah, I mean, listen, we could do a whole expose of where are they now in Angela's life. And obviously Scotty would be the first. We can't talk about her. So yeah, Renee's helping her pack. She tells them, her that, Michael doesn't know. And that's basically it. I don't have to tell you, it's kind of a weird scene, and there's nothing to really be said about it except the fact that I don't trust anyone who'd want to be friends with Angela. Renee is just like, great, I'm gonna be famous for a second. I hope Renee is getting it out of what she wants. Like, Wah had a great point, which is that Renee, as like a person of color, is gonna go to Nigeria and just watch Angela, a white woman, just scream. It's going to be interesting to like see how Renee deals with that. Renee, how do you feel having another another Renee to be talked about? It's very telling that Angela can't seem to maintain any long-term relationships. Yep. Yep. I think that I think anyone would just get somewhat exhausted. You can't be around that kind of like loud, screaming, yelling drama toxicity. You just can't be, I mean, rational people can't. It's just, it wears you down. It's like you have other things to do, you know? Um, oh, yay. How much is a drunk? Oh, we're going to Charlie. Part-time, full-time, functional, seasonal. Yeah, there's the different types, right? There's the people that drink every day, and there's the people that every time they drink, they like lose ability to like deal with their behavior, and and it's like it becomes an excuse for bad behavior. I don't know. She's a great Mima. Yeah, that part's true. I think that she is, she's raising all of those kids for some reason, and she wants to put it on Michael to have like a father figure in their lives, when I'm like, what about their dads? The interview with Charlie is on Linda's YouTube channel. Okay, I'm going to watch it after this. Yeah, okay, so during the live that Wah and I had with Linda on our IG, I brought up the foot stuff because that episode had just watched, and yeah, she was all about them. She was like, that's fine, good, make their money. So I knew that Linda was going to already had like a very strong opinion of them doing the things they need to do. She's exhausting, toxic, and horrible. No one wants that in their lives. I mean, yeah, true. Oh, hi. I agree. Angela does like to blame Michael for a lot. Angela has a temper too, and I think she would benefit from counseling and not blame her partner who lives abroad for how she feels. God bless. Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, anyone who, yeah, Angela has to go to counseling and therapy anyway. She has hardcore anger issues, and listen, there is also something behind the weight gain and the smoking of the cigarettes. I know, I'm not like being, I know that. Like there's stuff behind there. There's anxiety, or there's depression, I don't know, anxiety, like the need to like soothe. What are you soothing all the time? A natural tendency to maybe be anxious or whatever. So I completely agree. It's a very astute comment. Also, look at this baby. Hi. 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 Okay. That's all I have to say about this episode. Like we're gonna see what else happens, Obviously don't talk about Ed. So if for any reason any new peeps are like, you forgot a couple, it's not the couple I'll be talking about. I don't care. They shouldn't be on the show. None of them are foreign. It's not a 90-day couple. So you can just exit stage right, those people, and live your lives off camera. Or I don't know, a different show if you want to be on camera so bad. Listen, or OnlyFans, do you? But just I don't have to watch it. T Jones, it's Mean Ma. Look at those two kitties. If you Look at those two kitties just holding each other. I like that. So what else, my loves? I still haven't watched any. I still have to watch more of 90 Day Single Life, but we did watch the 90 Day for the same episode that I just talked about now. The Docu Sweeties podcast already has our recap up. So if you want more of this, you can literally listen to a whole other hour-long conversation of Wa and I talking about it. And I always try and do different points, or like, I mean, I might speak of the same thing because it's my viewing of it, but I try and obviously like talk about different things with you all that I didn't talk about with Wa, but she also has great points. So that's up, as well as our Love After Lockup is up. That's really fun. We have 2 episodes of the Deep Down, and tonight we're doing the next 2 episodes. So those will be up soon too, which is the Hulu documentary, freeform documentary, The Deep Down. No, The Deep End. God damn it. The Deep End. Which is a documentary about a YouTube spiritual guru / cult leader named Teal Swan. We're really into it. So yeah, that's on that's our episodes 1 and 2 are already up on the Docu Sweeties feed, along with Love After Lockup and this episode I just talked about. Free wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google. And then if you'd like to watch us do it, you're welcome to. We actually have a Patreon channel. That's patreon.com/DocuSweeties, where we like just put up our lives. And so when we do the Deep End, those will be up tonight, episodes 3 and 4. So other than that, my loves, that's all I have for you. That's it. You're welcome to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Chris L. Farah. We're going to do our breath in the middle of the week to ground ourselves, and just have like a sense of community. Because at the same time, so what was transfixing about the episode in India for Jenny and Sumit, where they get to like experience this religious ceremony, is whatever it could be so many things, but there is this nostalgia that I have for group mindful moments. And as much as I want to have a full religious ceremony with you all, could you imagine if every 64, like if I had there was like 71 at one point, and I just like told you guys I was leaving, and so some people dropped off. But could you imagine if there was just like we were like a fun thing we could do because we all live together or all live in the same neighborhood, and I'm like, you guys, Wednesday night, it's blah blah blue night, and you just like come down from your apartments and like there's just like some fun thing that we're all doing. There's like music or like a fire dancer, and we just like get to spend like 2 hours and you go back to your lives. It's like it makes me want that, so I feel like at least this breath is a way for us to do that, because it's like we are going to, at the same time in our whole lives, no matter where you are, I love you guys so much. Wherever you are, we're going to have a breath together, and it's happening in real time. And the community of us not being in physical space is sad, yes, but we are, in fact, fully here right now together. Can you believe it? This is our spiritual ceremony. This is our spiritual mindful moment. Whatever you're doing, try and put down the phone or try and put down the pen, and then just give yourself these 2 breaths in real time with others. Just to remember where you are, to feel the ground underneath your feet, or wherever you're sitting, to feel your sit bones. You are in this present moment, and your mind will, the minute it's over, jump ahead of what you have to do or jump behind you of the things you've already done. And it's hard to stay in the present, but sensorially, it's important to like have the moments where you can remember to do so. So let's do it. Let's put out let's get ourselves ready by the cleansing breath before we get into our actual breath. I feel so good. I'm gonna do it one more time. We are here. We're all together for this one moment. I wish all of you to have a great day. I wish you to find little pockets of warmth and happiness and pockets of gratitude. And I want you to, if you can, just share a little smile or warmth with someone else today. A moment of connection, maybe like just an eye contact and smile that makes other people know that you are, in fact, present. And this smile and these eyes are not darting away, they're here for you. And they're here, just sitting in it. It's a hard thing sometimes because of everything I said, that we go back and we go forth in time. And then we're also bogged down by our own dramas, you know. But this is the work. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your beautiful engagement, your commentary. Please, if you wouldn't mind liking this video, subscribing, and when the video goes up, doing a little after comment. I appreciate it all. Okay. Bye, bays.